has all those check marks on his resume, as you all know. Winning elections in a great county, and we love this county. But it's not easy, is it? And you've been county executive for a long time, buddy. And a really smart, competent person with integrity and ethics. And how cool is that? Knowing you wake up every day, the county's going to run, and you're never going to have to see this name in bad headlines. Other than what the Democrats say, who cares about it? So you all know that, and that's why you're here, and that's great. But when I'm asked to do stuff for friends, all of you know me, I don't lie. And David and I, when we're together, we have been together a fair amount of the last couple of years, we don't talk politics. We talk family. We talk kids and grandchildren, correct? Most of the time. And we try to outdo one another because we're so proud. Yeah, my kid got 3 kids, my kid got 4 kids, my grandchild. And it is. And it's really cool because I ask all of you who are around politicians and around politics and around major egos to think of typically, what do those politicians talk about when you're with them privately? It's personal pronouns. It's me, I. And that's ego. And all of us have seen egos out of control in the public realm. When the ego gets too out of control, we tend to really read bad headlines. But when David and I get together, it's almost never politics. It's children and grandchildren and this county and the people in this room, quite frankly, our friends. And that, to me, is the coolest barometer of anybody in public life. Because that is an ego in control. You've been around, what, 97 years now? Or how many years? He hired my wife, so I'm going to be nice to him. Joe fits that as well. And so, when you see, all the ads, you see, the distortions and the made-up stuff, and just know, when it comes down to it, philosophy counts, votes count, leadership decisions count, putting budgets together count, where the Walmart goes counts, all that stuff, right? It all counts. But when it comes down to it, we do not have a right to expect that we will agree with our leaders every time. I love Ronald Reagan. We don't agree with him all the time. Many of you know I've read every Winston Churchill book, Imagine. Didn't agree with him all the time. But in this county, you get to go to bed every night knowing that that guy over there has the sort of class and dignity you have a right to expect in being a county. And that's pretty cool, and that's why I'm here tonight. David Craig, your county executive.
We got a new president elected, and he comes up here to the Maryland Golf and Country Club to host a little event for the inauguration. And I met another wonderful person, you, Rosemary Hayjack, and her husband. That's the very first time I met them. And you did a nice, wonderful thing so we could be up there and see the president getting inaugurated, and that's the very first time. And then I got to really meeting 2 years later when I got to the House of Delegates and served with him in the House of Delegates and saw he was a real good leader. And then got everybody on board in the family to go door to door when he was going to be our congressman, and really appreciate the fact that he's such a great guy. And actually got to meet his wife about the time he was introducing her to everybody. So we do talk about our children. I do say that I want to introduce Bridget to Drew.
There's a questionnaire involved here.
Just to make it so the next generation be good, because he and I agree. He wants his next generation to be here. I want our next generation to be here. We want Maryland. Actually, I tell people I don't want to change Maryland. I want Maryland to get back to the way it was when I was growing up. I mean, I'm from Maryland. for a long time, 65 years, obviously. But our family's been here since 1660. I want that, you see them up there, the grandchildren at the top, along with Nana, who's at the back, the first lady. We want them to live here. We want them to live in a safe community. We want them to be able to go to great schools. We want them to be able to have a career. We don't want them overtaxed. We want them to be here when we're here and when we're retired. And I'm sure that we all agree on that. Now, there are a couple people I want to mention, because I wouldn't be in office in some ways if there are a couple people. One is Dave Meadows. Dave and I ran, stand up, Dave. Dave and I ran for the House and we had a really good ticket, and he helped out, in getting that race over the top. And if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had a seatmate, Jim Ports. In the House, and saw a really good man move up when another man moved up too, and he is one of our phenomenal county employees right now, really doing a great job. There are a couple other people. I know it's not 97 years. I know it's 32 years. The longest serving state's attorney, who does a wonderful job. Because when I talk about Harper County being the #1 safest county in the state, one of the things I talk about is we have a good attorney general who, when people get arrested, he actually gets them in jail. He actually knows how to do it. Not like in Baltimore City. He does a great job. The man whose first name is Sheriff. Where's Bill Kunkel? Where's Bill? Bill's still here? All right, Bill, the man, I think his first name is Sheriff. Great man worked for a man who will be the sheriff, Jeff. Yeah. But Bob Ehrlich knows this. It's not just enough about me wanting to lower taxes, the income tax, your estate tax, get rid of the rain tax, tolls, all those sorts of things. I mean, he left over $1 billion in money for that governor, and that governor's kicking that can down the road. And I'm going to be stuck with about $2 billion in a deficit just to start off with. But we know how to do it, because I can tell you, tomorrow I'm putting out my budget. It's actually $40 million smaller than it was last year. So we do have it. It's not just going to be enough to get David Craig elected. It's going to be important to get Jeannie Hadaway elected. They're going to be saying, I guess I'll vote for David if I want Jeannie in there. And I do tell people she's going to be the first woman governor in 4 years. Not this year. But she is great. She is going to give people a voice in Annapolis, because she's been a hard worker down there, and I really appreciate the fact that you appointed her there 11 years ago. Excellent decisions on your side to do that. But it's also going to be important. There's two other people in this room. I see, where's Bob? Well, stand up. I can count 6 and 7. Dave Seaman running for the We're going to need people on the first floor to be able to work in the House and the Senate. It is going to be vital to have those people turn those numbers around. And Jeannie will be able to work with them. I'll be able to work with them to make sure they understand what happens. But we need people like these two guys here that are true people. It's not just about being conservative or liberal or anything like that. They are true, hard-working people. That's what we need back in Annapolis. People who actually understand what you have to do. So we have our plan. We appreciate the fact you're here. Really thank you for what you've done for us in the last, I don't even know how many years you've been doing our service to the people, and love reading your books and things like that. And I know that this is not an endorsement. He is being very good about supporting people, because he knows about how to put the party back together. Because we had a really good race in 2002. This is like 2002. In 1994 we had a good race, but we had a little division afterwards. So we need to get that party back together. And people say, how can we win, David Craig? And he mentioned all of we're 12. I'm 12-0 with Jeannie. We're 14-0 when it comes to general elections. That's important to be able to do that. But it's being able to run a campaign like he did in 2002. And there are a lot of frustrated Marylanders right now. A lot of frustrated Marylanders. Now, can you hold this just for a minute? This is my last thing before we stop. I don't know if you know, I came out today and I endorsed Anthony Brown. I endorsed Anthony Brown to be the governor. I endorsed Anthony Brown to be the governor of Connecticut. loser, and the people of Maryland are going to be a winner. Because we need you to get out and vote. We need your support, whatever you can do, and we appreciate everything you've done. And I really appreciate something that Stevie Gamatoria helped fund this event tonight. You know, we really appreciate everything you're doing, and we're going to be out. Jeannie knows this. You know, we're out working all the time. We're doing it on the ground level. We're doing it at the 30,000-foot level, and we're out there working all the time. And so is Melinda. She's finding what it's like to eat dinner at 10:30 at night recently. So thank you all.
Don't forget Bob.
Oh, Bob came. Oh, that's right. Bob came in after we were doing our list. I knew the senator. You know, when I ran for that seat, it was the first time a Republican won that seat, and Nancy Jacobs came in, and then he jumped in now that Nancy's retiring, and he can win, and he should win, and he's out there working, and everybody in Maryland, in Harford County is going to get to vote for 2 Casleys, right? At some point. At some point. So I really applaud everybody for coming. Thank you all. Hang around.
But I want to thank you all for coming tonight, and I want to thank you for the tremendous support that you have shown David and David and I now. I'm so happy to be on the team, and I hope that you don't take this the wrong way, but you all have had David for long enough, and the rest of the state is yearning for the type of leadership that David can bring to the table. So you're going to have to forgive us for taking him from your county, but it's going to be for the good of all the citizens in Maryland. After the last 90 days in the Maryland General Asylum, as I like to call it, it is more evident than ever we need someone with a firm record, with great leadership, and with the executive